A very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Sharab Dorji. Our top stories this week: His Majesty the King graced the opening of the 10th session of the Second Parliament. His Holiness the Khenpo presided over a day-long prayer for the long life and well-being of His Majesty the 4th Duke Gyalpo. And Her Majesty the Gyaltsen launched the Bhutan for Life initiative. His Majesty the King graced the opening of the 10th session of the Second Parliament in Gyalong Tsokang. His Majesty was accompanied by Her Majesty the Gyaltsen.
Upon their arrival at the courtyard, His Majesty the King was received in a traditional chibdral procession by the Prime Minister, National Assembly Speaker, Chairperson of the National Council, Cabinet Ministers and the Members of Parliament. Then, the National Assembly Speaker on behalf of the parliamentarians thanked His Majesty the King for gracing the ceremony and for His Majesty's unwavering and continuous support. The 10th session of the Second Parliament will deliberate on Royal Audit Bill 2017 and Royal Tax Bill 2017. The Parliament will also discuss Narcotic Drugs, Psychotropic Substances and Substance Abuse Bill of Bhutan 2017. The discussions will formally begin tomorrow. The session will end on 8th of December. Pasang Toji, BBS News.
His Holiness the Khenpo presided over Tsepame Tsokor at the Council Foda for the long life and well-being of His Majesty the 4th Duke Gyalpo. Prayers and butter lamps were also offered to mark the birthday of His Majesty the 4th Duke Gyalpo.
With the end of Kanjur oral transmission and Melam Sokchen, over 1,000 devotees stayed back to celebrate the day. His Holiness the Khenpo also donated 10 million yutam to the Health Ministry, 5 million yutam to install 100,000 statues in the Tempa Dodinma Temple at Kunsal Phojang and 3 million yutam to Melam Sokpa. His Holiness also conferred Da Nyenga to Lam Tsingwadi, who constructed the Tempa Dodinma statue. Kilidim, PBS News.
Coinciding with the birthday of His Majesty the 4th Duke Gyalpo, Her Majesty the Gyaltsen launched the Bhutan for Life initiative in Thimphu. Bhutan for Life is a strategic and long-term project to ensure Bhutan remains economically and environmentally sustainable.
Over 51% of the country, totaling to 5 million acres, are protected as parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Around 5,000 plants and more than 200 animal species can be found in Bhutan. But poaching and human-wildlife conflicts are some of the increasing challenges to conserve the nature. To address this, the government and the World Wildlife Fund jointly came up with Bhutan for Life initiative. At the launch, Her Majesty the Gyaltsen, who is the royal patron of the environment, presented a special recognition to the project and its partners. In her keynote address, Her Majesty paid tribute to Bhutan's extraordinary achievements in conservation under the leadership of our kings.
In framing an approach to holistic progress, His Majesty the 4th King nurtured a deep-rooted reverence for our natural environment. Today, environmental conservation remains at the center of Bhutan's development philosophy as one of the 4 main pillars of gross national happiness. As Bhutan progresses under the guidance and leadership of His Majesty, King Jigme Gesar Namgyel Wangchu, our efforts continue to be resilient and sustained.
Her Majesty added, Bhutan's vision is not only to fulfill international obligations, but through her success, be a source of encouragement and inspiration for others.
Bhutan for Life is an important step in ensuring that our country's natural heritage will live forever. Bhutan will be the first in Asia to adopt the innovative project finance for performance approach to funding conservation, allowing Bhutan to continue to improve the sustainable management of its protected area systems, while also preparing the nation to adapt to the impacts of climate change. In doing so, Bhutan can strive to be one of the first developing countries in Asia to complete its protected area goals and make significant contributions to the global Aichi targets under the UN Convention on Biological Diversity.
$43 million have been collected under the initiative from various agencies and individuals. The fund will be combined with annual contributions from the government and be invested over a period of 14 years. The funds will not only cover the financial gap in conservation efforts, but slowly intends to help the government become self-sufficient in these efforts. Her Majesty also launched a publication commemorating 40 years of partnership between the WWF and the Bhutanese government. Yisha Galton, BBS News.
The Druk Nyamrup Tsokpa says although they respect the High Court's decision, they are not happy for not being able to fight the case on behalf of the public. The High Court dismissed Druk Nyamrup Tsokpa's petition for a writ against the government.
The court yesterday reasoned that the petitioner, TNT, has no legal standing to file a constitutional writ, as the party is not directly harmed. Reacting to the court's judgment, Druk Nyamrup Tsokpa says the party respects the court's ruling, but the loss of revenue for the nation is a loss to all the Bhutanese. Although the court dismissed the case, TNT says the court has passed no judgment on the issue of constitutional violation.
The dismissal of the case is based entirely on the legal standing of Druk Nyamrup Tsokpa and whether as a party outside the parliament can file for a constitutional writ.
He added, in absence of legal system to file public litigation cases, the party respects the ruling by the court of placing the responsibility on filing constitutional writ on the opposition party.
The court, in its wisdom and for the future of democracy, has ruled that only those who are harmed individually and the opposition party has that responsibility. We respect that decision and we urge that the opposition party will take this forward and bring this case to its logical conclusion.
TNT filed the lawsuit against the government in the High Court in August this year. The party accused the government for an alleged unconstitutional implementation of tax alteration. Bimasalan Sri, BBS News.
The Office of the Attorney General is prosecuting a government land encroachment case allegedly involving the President Changap Kanju and Karma Jamso, a former land record officer. They are charged with government land encroachment, forgery, deceptive practice, and official misconduct. The preliminary hearing was recently held in Thimphu District Court. The Office of the Attorney General said the former Changap Kanju had encroached about 3.72 acres of government land from the public pasture land at Depsi in Thimphu by making false map and thumb. The incident took place between the year 2000 and 2005. The OAG said the GUB had then surveyed and encroached land and illegally registered in his mother's name and acquired benefits by selling it to other people. The OAG said the former land record officer is charged with official misconduct for helping register 35 decimal of government land. According to the Land Act 1979, the pasture land belongs to the government. The OAG said private individuals have no authority over it. The OAG is also requesting the court to order restitution of the encroached government land and penalize the suspects. For Changa Dorji, this is Sharaf Dorji, BBS News. Money laundering is an integral part of illegal financial activities, especially bribery and embezzlement. But it is a challenge for many to conduct anti-money laundering investigations, which means following the trail of illegal money. The Anti-Corruption Commission said it is no different here in Bhutan. Therefore, law enforcement officials from 17 agencies are being trained to enhance their knowledge on financial investigation and assets recovery.
Anti-Corruption Commission is getting help from the Basel Institute on Governance, an independent non-profit competence center working around the world to counter corruption and other financial crimes. Phyllis Atkinson from the Institute said people involved in illicit practices and money laundering are much smarter than investigators. Even participants agreed that shortage of skilled professionals in investigating money laundering and corruption is one of the major challenges in Bhutan.
You know, traditionally what we would do as investigators, we would go after the criminal because we want to put him in jail. But the whole idea was that he'd come out of jail, probably get a number of years off, and then he'd still enjoy the proceeds of his illegal activity. So you want to prevent that from happening. So instead of just wanting to convict the individual, you also want to go after those proceeds.
From finding source of illicit money to recovering the illegal assets, the participants will be trained to follow the trail that leads to money laundering. The 5-day training will focus on embezzlement, bribery, and abuse of powers. Samten Dolkar, PBS News.
Areca nut is widely consumed by Bhutanese, both young and elderly, despite its health hazards. This is because many are not aware of the health implications. At the 2-day cancer prevention program workshop in Thimphu, doctors presented the health consequences of the widely consumed nut and the way forward to address the issue.
Despite science proving it to be a health hazard, areca nut is still widely consumed with slaked lime and bitter leaf. It is in fact considered a part of Bhutanese culture, and that makes it difficult for health workers to keep people from chewing the nut. Doctors said arecolin, an odorless oily liquid substance in areca nut, is proven to be carcinogenic and can cause oral cancer in the long run.
It increases cell turnover, it causes mutation, it induces certain receptors in the body, which ultimately leads to cancer. But before that, it also induces certain changes in the mouth of the chewer, which are called the pre-malignant condition, So specifically called the submucosal fibrosis. And once with time, there's a high possibility that the particular pre-malignant condition called the submucosal fibrosis can actually convert into cancer.
Besides cancer, areca nut is also associated with other diseases.
There are also other epidemiological studies, not hardcore research, but epidemiological studies which says that areca nut is associated with metabolic syndrome, hypertension, diabetes, some arterial problems. It increases the stiffness of the arteries.
Dr. Phupsiring at the Cancer Prevention Program workshop presented recommendations that would help prevent oral cancer resulting from chewing areca nut, and the need for a consistent effort to make public aware of the health hazard of betel quid and areca nut is one of the recommendations. Phupgame for BBS News.
Tashigan Dzongkhag records the highest number of gungtong or empty houses in the country, but Meragyeok has not registered a single gungtong so far. Locals say they have all the facilities and rural-urban migration is not their choice.
The latest figure shows there are over 1,000 gungtong in Tashigan alone. Many left for towns in search of jobs and better facilities. However, it is a different picture in Meragyeok in Tashigan. The gyeok is located 3,500 meters above sea level, but people enjoy staying here. They rear yaks and migrate to other parts of Tashigan during winter. The place remains mostly under the thick blanket of snow.
There are no empty houses here. Not a single house is left as gungtong. I heard there are gungtong in other gyeoks.
There are 147 households in Khmer Chiok and not single Gungtong. It is because people here depend on cattle and the place is located on mountains. Secondly, I think we need not go away to capital city because of the blessings of Jomo.
With the economic developmental activities, people migrate to other districts in search of better life. But in our case, since we depend on livestock, we have to look after cattle, or as we do not have other alternative.
For now, Merak with over 3,000 people has mobile phones, electricity, drinking water and roads at their disposal. Compiled for Siringzam in Trashigang, Yishe Gelson, BBS News.
The National Center for Hydrology and Meteorology, or NHCM, will now train the agriculture officers on weather and climate forecasts. This is to indirectly help farmers. The need was felt when agriculture officials pointed out the lack of agro-meteorology expertise in the ministry.
Agrometeorology, which concerns the use of weather and climate information to enhance agricultural crops, will now take an active role to help farmers in the country. Although agromet services were introduced long time back in the country, it was found that the practical usage was less in farming. Therefore, the need to bridge the gap between National Center for Hydrology and Meteorology and agriculture sector was felt.
We want agriculture to understand what we can produce, and also we want to know what agriculture wanted. And then at the same time, we want to build a strong institutional link between agriculture and NCHM.
The agricultural officials will be trained to interpret and translate weather data so that they are able to explain it to the farmers about farming and farming disaster. The training is also expected to produce agromet expertise among the agriculture sectors.
NCHM will, look for the opportunities, look at opportunities to train our agriculture officers, extension officers, and we want those extension officers, agriculture officers who work at Geog or Chiog levels to take these informations like climate services information. For example, seasonal outlook, say if this year we have less rainfall, we want them to take those information to the community level and make them understand what happens if there is a less rainfall.
Agriculture Ministry officials are hoping that the collaboration would help the already flourishing agricultural practices in Bhutan.
We will be providing them with more knowledge in addition to the existing knowledge that they have, which will help them yield good crops and to also battle farming disasters in future.
The participants also discussed other recommendations such as installation of weather station in every corner and use of social media to inform farmers among others. Samton Dolkar, BBS News.
Bhutan lost to Oman 4-2 in the ongoing AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. This is Bhutan's 5th straight defeat in the qualifiers. However, the 2 goals were Bhutan's first in the group matches. Bhutan's plan worked to perfection when Oman were not able to find the net in the first half despite repeated efforts. Bhutan's first half effort was shattered when Oman scored 3 minutes into the second half. However, Bhutan responded with a goal, finding the equalizer in the 58th minute. Karmashirup Tsering beating Ali Al-Habsi from 20 yards out. Oman were unfazed by the equalizer. They went on to score their second and third goal in quick succession. Oman grabbed their 4th goal through the substitute Said Al-Razaki. The The match was done and dusted by then. In injury time, Sencho Gelson gave Bhutanese fans something to cheer about when he scored an absolute thunderous free kick. 4-2 is how it finished. Bhutan's hunt for a victory in the qualifiers is halted yet again. They will play their final match in the Maldives in March next year. Sharab Dorji, PBS News. Well, that's all we have got for you this week. Keep yourself warm. This is Sharab Dorji saying goodbye.